Why hello fellow Patriots, and welcome to episode 26 on the Patriot Dad channel, where we can discuss current events and modern issues, all while keeping it as real as possible. Today we're going to be wrapping up our series on the original writing of the Constitution with a review of Articles 5 through 7. Over the last few weeks we've had an interesting review and navigated the Constitution in its original unamended form, and I've really enjoyed it a great deal. Relearning and diving back into some of these topics that I'd forgotten about a long time ago has been good for me, and I hope it's been good for you as well. So let's navigate the remaining 3 articles today and see what Articles 5 through 7 contain for us. So we can start here with Article 5, that Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution. So we have right here, we are laying out the process for how we can amend the Constitution, because our founders were geniuses. They knew that this document would probably need to evolve moving forward, and what they wrote on day one would probably not be its final form. But they also knew that we needed to have a more complicated, slow process to amend the Constitution, because if you allow us to change it at a whim and too quickly, it wouldn't end well either. You see here that it's 2/3 of both houses, the Senate and the House, that need to recommend an amendment. Or here, on application of the legislature of 2/3 of the several states. So here you have state legislatures can band together and call a convention of states to propose amendments to the Constitution. On application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which, in either case, shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of this Constitution when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by convention in 3/4 thereof. So you can see here 2/3 can recommend a change, but 3/4 must approve the change and have the amendment agreed upon. Again, this process is slow and cumbersome and complicated and difficult on purpose. If we're going to make significant changes to this founding document, it should be by the greater majority, not a simple majority. So we can continue on with Article 5 here, that as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article. That has to do a little bit with importation of persons, which is unfortunate, and that no state without its consent shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. So this neat little blurb at the end talks about that every state is going to have 2 senators, unless that state agrees to have one of its senators or both removed. Now, I can't for the life of me think why a state would decide that it wanted to have less representation, but the equal suffrage or equal votes in the Senate is important. It keeps things balanced. So then we continue on here with Article 6. Article 6 states that all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. So here we see that states joining the United States under this Constitution, if they have debts that they hold, that those debts would be honored by the United States and paid by the United States, because you are joining the United States as a member state. This is probably important to a lot of the states who probably had a lot of wartime debt and other things that was still outstanding, or treaties with other groups or persons. You know what? We wanted to make sure those things are honored and that we aren't going back on our word. So we're going to include those with the United States and we're good to go. Makes sense to me. We continue on here that this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. So the states are all agreeing that when the United States commits to something, that is the rule for everybody. Which makes sense, right? If the United States government is going to make a treaty with another foreign government, we don't want a rogue state deciding that it's not going to honor that treaty. That could cause international problems. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Can't just go making rules and regulations and laws that are counter to our agreements as the United States. That wouldn't end well. And then we finish here with Article 6, that the senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislatures and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath and affirmation to support the Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. So we see here the oath to follow and support whatever wording you choose, but to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Now, if you've served federally, you've probably taken some sort of oath. I know when I joined the military, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of these United States. And apparently every other officer or judicial person or legislator does the same, which makes sense. If you're going to represent the United States or one of its member states, you should probably be loyal to these United States. Makes sense. At least it makes sense to me, but apparently there are still some people who want to be communists and not agree to it. I guess you have the freedom to do so, just don't serve in the government. So then you finish off here with Article 7, the ratification of the conventions of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states so ratifying the same. So we see here out of the original 13 that 9 were required to ratify the Constitution. And then we get into something interesting here. We see in Article 7 that we actually get a little bit of a correction or clarification to things that were written on the original document. The word "the" being interlined between the 7th and 8th lines on the first page, the word 30 being partly written on an erasure in the 15th line of the first page, and the words "is tried" being interlined between the 32nd and 33rd lines of the first page, and the word "the" being interlined between the 43rd and 44th lines of the second page. Attest William Jackson, Secretary. So here you can see that they are acknowledging that they kind of wrote some of the margins and did some things that might in the future not be understood. So they just clearly laid out, they're like, hey, we did this. This was not somebody else. And William Jackson, the secretary, said, yep, we did this. This was not something that somebody else did after the fact. It's just a neat little historical note at the end of Article 7. And then done in convention by unanimous consent of the states present on the 17th day of September in the year of our Lord. We'll get into that in the First Amendment. But for people that argue that we were separating the church from the state, I think they're confused on which was being separated from which. Because we keep calling it the year of our Lord. The First Continental Congress started with a prayer. Like, there's so many references that religious values and religion itself was not trying to be purged from government. We were just trying to keep the church from running the government. Well, like I said, we'll get into that later. In the year of our Lord, 1787, or 1787, and on the independence of the United States of America, the 12th, in witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names. And then we have here a list of all of the G's that signed this thing from the 12 states: Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Interestingly enough, though, that's only 12, so which state or colony at the time was not represented? Turns out Rhode Island did not send any representatives to the convention in 1787. Interesting. I don't know why, but they didn't. So 12 out of the 13 signed the document. It's an interesting little note. So I appreciate you all who stuck with me through this navigation through our Constitution. It is an amazing document written by some amazing men. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end and this series. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell icon to be notified when I upload new content. Please share the video with friends, family, churchgoers, co-workers, and anyone else that you see fit. And if you want, leave a comment to recommend a future topic. I did say that we are going to be going over at least the Bill of Rights, if not more of the amendments. If you want to see the remainder of the amendments, please let me know. Following today's topic, though, I don't know if we're going to be diving right into the Bill of Rights. I may be doing a legal update. I have to see what I have time for and whether I think I can do the Bill of Rights justice in a single week. I might need to postpone that, and I'll just do a legal update on the status of my divorce and everything else going on and the madness that is the legal system and how it is fighting against well, me and men in general. But we'll also be doing another midweek review, and I will be doing more songs. I have Tom McDonald has been recommended. I have another song from our channel friend, Dr. BB. I've got a couple other songs as well that are queued up that have been recommended to me in comments. So go ahead and recommend more if you want to see more other songs, even if it's of a different genre. Samson was very enjoyable to me. So thank you everyone who has commented and recommended something. I greatly appreciate it. For everyone else, I look forward to your contributions as well. So everyone, take care, God bless, and bye for now. Go ahead and check out one of the links on the screen now to either subscribe to the channel and see the rest of the videos of the channel, or one of the carefully selected videos that you may wish to see that YouTube has used its algorithm to select for you.